And if anything that I want to impart this morning is really to show you how we engage with our workforce partners to assist employers and to package job seekers. Packaging job seekers, it's not just a job anymore. It's really taking this individual, your job applicant, to make sure that the person has that lifelong learning experience. If anything that about Guam is, and I've said this over and over, apprenticeship is not a new thing. It's been there, looking around, apprenticeship in Guam is about 53 years old. And it was only 2004 when we started using and leveraging its resources to fund apprenticeship. I mean, we have so many partnerships, so many people we work with, but I can tell you, I've been, for the last 4.5 years as director of the Guam Department of Labor, I found myself for the last 4 years trying to build a relationship, build a partnership. It's an ongoing progress. It's always work in progress. It's very important to show who it is that these 4 areas, the federal agencies, and these are the organizations that are providing funding to Guam. And also very quickly to explain the regional economy, and that's the Micronesian, the Regional Workforce Development Council with the Micronesia, and then the lifelong learning and the funding stream. Next. These are the federal agencies, and perhaps maybe why in apprenticeship, why are we looking at all those other federal agencies? Why is Interior or Agriculture? And again, if we're talking about cost allocation, holistically, we wanted to know people in Washington and people in San Francisco and including people in Honolulu. These are the federal agencies that are actually giving funding to Guam. In San Francisco, the Federal Regional Council, there are about 30 different programs, and those 30 different programs, they give a lot of funding, millions of dollars to the outer Pacific Island. So if we were to really understand holistically who are these funders, federal funders, then we need to be sensitive as far as the Department of Labor. WIA, in addition to WIA, what about Wagner-Pfizer? What about LMI? What about, there are so many other departments or divisions within the Department of Labor who we feel in Guam we should be working with. The Department of Education, of course, Carl Perkins. Department of Agriculture, food stamp. What about the Health and Human Services? We talk about looking at this individual, packaging this person holistically, so we need to know how much money is actually coming into the island of Guam, money for TANF jobs and all the other programs that these other federal agencies or government agencies that are overseeing. And these are mandatory partner in accordance with the WIA. The Housing of Urban Renewal, again, we talk about people with barriers. We try to help them, get them into workforce training, OJT training, but then we also need to understand all the other barriers as far as childcare or housing. Homeland Security, I put those two, the last two, because those are our customers. These federal agencies are customers and suppliers. It's really important as far as Homeland Security and the Department of Defense as our customers, because on Guam we are preparing for this military buildup. So when someone comes to you and says, Maria, we need 20,000 workers to build 3,500 homes, and you need to do it within the next 2 years, those are critical social and economic things we're looking at. Driving a regional transformation. Again, in addition to the federal law and in addition to the local law, the governors of these different islands and the presidents have actually a consortium to support each other on regional collaboration. And one of the 7 initiatives is workforce development. And we're very glad to be here because one of our tasks really is to develop a five-year strategic workforce development plan, preparing for this military buildup. Therefore, all these different islands with their WIA funding, having the training program so that people from the different islands will then be trained and prepared before they all migrate to Guam to work for the buildup. So we have a very strong relationship with these employers because there is a Guam law that states that in addition to the 30-day labor testing, they all sign a statement of assurance, and that assurance letter basically says that I will support and hire U.S. citizens, and I will also have an apprenticeship program to train the local chamorros or the local U.S. citizens to displace these foreign hires. So at the One Stop, the Alien Labor, we have our wage and hour, we have our fair employment, we have OSHA, Workers' Comp, Bureau of Labor Statistics. So in looking at assisting this employer, it's not just finding the right person and providing the appropriate training for this for the employee, but really the One-Stop Career Center we have is making sure that the employer who goes there gets all the assistance from all these different programs or departments of the Department of Labor. The learning continuum, and I hope it comes in very clear. If anything, that's one thing that we're very proud of. It's the first box, the career exploration. We have what we call the Passport to Career, which is the School to Work program. We have a year-round program for our high school kids. So for your freshmen and sophomore, they perhaps maybe don't really know what they want, but our program allows them to be able to be exposed to the world of work. So freshmen and 9th and 10th grade, they don't really know what they want, but we allow them to be in the program, so they'll be. By the 11th and 12th grade, they didn't have to choose. They have a vocational education path. So what we then do is the 11th and 12th grade, align them to the right employer based on the vocational education traits. And so the first block is your 9th and 10th grade exploratory the world of work. The second block is your 11th and 12th grade, where you're now aligning them with the employer based on the vocational education. After they graduate from high school, the 12th grade, we bridge. There are a lot of bridging them from high school into either AmeriCorps or into Job Corps or into the WIA OJT training or into registered apprenticeship. They go into the third box, which is your registered apprenticeship, and then the last box there is your journeyman. But the last box is not the end. As Murph said yesterday, the last box, once you attain your journey level certificate, then the opportunity for career progression. You could be an instructor, you could be a work leader, you could be a foreman, a superintendent, or from the production side of the house, you can move over to planning and estimating. So the way the career strategy plan is set up for the students or even for the worker, it is career progression. Funding, the apprenticeship funding, manpower. On your far right, the Manpower Development Fund, we collect $1,000 from every foreign hire. So when a foreign hire reports to Guam, we charge them $1,000. That 70% of the money goes to the community college. And it's self-explanatory as far as the other funding comes from the employers, the state partners, our WIA. We do use, in addition to the statewide funds, we use the WIA adult and dislocated. And then on the far upper corner where we have the employers supporting for salaries and benefits. Why apprenticeship? We are basically saying because it's a proven track. We've had apprenticeship since 1956. We need to reduce the dependency of foreign hires, providing highly skilled workers, and relevant skills. Again, relevant skills, so we offer career, and the last bullet there is that it's recognized. People are actually anxious to get into this structured program so that they'll be able to get that certificate of apprenticeship from the U.S. Department of Labor.